So it occurred to me the other day that even though the Harry Potter series is definitely one of my favorite series of all time, yes, I grew up on them just like practically everybody else on BookTube. I have very fond memories of the series. It occurred to me that I've actually never really thought things out and actually sat down and figured out which of the books in the series were my favorite and in what order, and why do I prefer one book to the other. And I decided that I would just turn this into a video. So there you are, my very first of many Harry Potter videos. So I'm definitely going to start things off in a particular order, which would be from least favorite to absolute favorite. And my least favorite book in the entire series, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. What can I say? You know, before this book came out in 2007, I was definitely one of the many crowds, many millions of people eager and excited to see how J.K. Rowling was going to end this story that had started for me back when I was 10. Of course, it wasn't like the very first book came out when I was 10, but rather the first movie came out. I watched the movie, I wanted more, I went looking for the books, and then I read all the books as they came out. So I was really looking forward to see exactly how J.K. Rowling was going to end the series. And even though there was still a lot of loss that did get to me, I think the fact that J.K. Rowling ultimately pulled off the you died but I brought you back to life, aka the resurrection trope. The fact that she pulled it off in this book just kind of reduced my love for it. I felt that it would have been a much more impactful, definitely much more loved, and even more heartbreaking end to the series if she had just gone through with it and killed off Harry. But Harry didn't die, Hermione didn't die, thank God, but Hermione didn't die, Ron didn't die, Neville didn't die. Even though my heart broke when Fred died, but still, I still think that of all the side characters and all the many characters that J.K. Rowling could have killed off, Fred and Tonks and Lupin were just, I won't call them easily disposable, but losing them will not have hurt as much as losing any of our other cores. So the fact that, you know, she preserved so many of these main characters, they all saw the end of this book, kind of slightly cheapened the stakes, the high stakes that she had promised me when I started this book. I also didn't like the way in which she gave Snape a redemption arc. Bite me, I still think he's very abusive. I still think that entire mess of how she ended up going always, yes, so you're obsessed with a girl, you spent all your life being in love with her, even though technically, would you consider that love, or more of viewing her through this possessive, lust-filled lens? Like, I don't want to go into details because this video is not all about what Snape actually felt for Lily was not actually love, but more in the case of, I did not like the redemption arc. I definitely would have preferred it if it had been Draco that had gotten the redemption arc, and not just because Draco Malfoy is my son, but also because of the fact that I felt that someone that young, someone who had been bred in that way, because say what you will, that was all he knew, that was the family was surrounded by. Of course, it just made logical sense that this 16-year-old terrified out of his fucking mind would go along, for fear of his own life, would go along with this whole thing when you had adult Snape, first teenage Snape, then adult Snape, walk with his two legs to, you know, join the Death Eaters. Like, I'm sorry, I don't feel sorry for him. I'm pissed that he got a redemption arc. I was also very pissed about the whole, you know, the naming thing. Like, seriously, Harry, seriously, you could not name any of your kids? I don't know, maybe Lupin, maybe Hagrid. You had to go for the man that abused you all these years and the headmaster that manipulated you all these years. Like, fuck. I also didn't like the way in which, you know, they showed us how several years later thing of this is them now happy and married. Like, I know J.K. Rowling wanted to give us the whole, see, your faves are okay and in love and married and thriving, but actually would have really loved it if she had just ended this series with the end of the battle in Hogwarts. Like, that was really cool. The so many years after was not needed, and that definitely made this end of the series my least favorite of the Harry Potter books, which is a big pity because I had such high hopes for it. My second least favorite, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. What can I say? This is the start of the series, which, even if I was looking at it with terms of nostalgia, this would be my favorite, because this was the book in which we first discovered this magical wizarding world, and then we went to Hogwarts and we met everybody, and, you know, we befriended Ron and we met Hermione. Like, ideally, the wonder, the joy, The magic in this is strong, and it would always hold a special place in my heart as a result of it. But I'm not gonna lie, this book was definitely riddled with a lot of plot holes. And secondly, but most importantly, I just felt like the stakes were not high enough. So many things were just easily and conveniently resolved, and even though this book fills me with a lot of wonder and magic and joy, it still didn't grip me the way other books in the series did, and that is the reason why it's my second favorite. I still love it. It's still, every time I reread the Harry Potter series and I pick up Philosopher's Stone, I'm once again in the wizarding world. I'm once again Harry experiencing this thing for the first time and just consistently getting his mind blown away. You know, he's still seeing all the glitz and all the glamour, and has not gotten to the seedy underbelly that is the downside to being a part of the wizarding world. But I really, second favorite, still makes me smile so fondly and so happy. And then there's Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. This is where we finally we start to peel the different layers that make up Lord Voldemort, and we finally see partly the culmination. Okay, see, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows definitely helps us to see exactly what the end result of all of Dumbledore's manipulation of Harry up to this point has been. But Half-Blood Prince, you definitely see it. You definitely see it like front and center. I love the fact that at this point, like I said, we're pulling off the different layers of Voldemort. We were able to understand him better. Who is Tom Riddle? How did Tom Riddle come to be? What adds to his air of arrogance? You know, why is it that he acts the way he does? And I just love the fact that all this build up made the stakes in Deathly Hallows even higher. And I love the fact that it wasn't that, oh, this book exists because we understand what it is, the individual little battles that Harry and his friends have to go on in Deathly Hallows. This is just a framework to how they would get there, and I definitely appreciate the fact that we got it in a book. I would, even though Dumbledore is a manipulative prick, this book still made me cry. Losing him was still heartbreaking. At this point, you know, J.K. Rowling has confirmed to us all that she would just keep killing everybody, but it was still heartbreaking. I still cried. And I also love the angst between Harry and Draco, and Harry trying to figure out, okay, what is up with Draco. Of course, I didn't love the gaslighting that Harry had to go through in this book, because it turned out that he was right and they all suspected it, but in a way it was just being, I think it was being gaslighted. Another reason why Dumbledore is a fucking prick. Like, I should probably do a video as to many ways in which Albus Dumbledore is a fucking prick. I still have a portrait of him I'm going to frame because, you know, but I'm not gonna lie, he is manipulative. But yeah, the entire mood, right? The entire mood in Half-Blood Prince was like a descent into the somber tones that we're going to carry through with the rest of Deathly Hallows. And it just, every time I think about it, when it's confirmed, when the wizarding world finally realizes the truth that Voldemort is back, the amount of level of hysteria, the way it's built, the fear was permeating through the pages. I just loved it. I loved it also the fact that, you know, Harry was trying to juggle all of this while also still trying to juggle his schoolwork, while also having to deal with, you know, the emotions and all the feelings, everything he's feeling. I enjoyed this book. It's not my favorite because there were so many other better books that I think, for me, placed higher than this, but I did enjoy it. So yeah, this would be number 5, technically number 5 on my list. And then number 4 is Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. All I would say that, 1, this was the first book where we definitely met Dobby. 2, I love the mystery. I love the mystery in this book. I love how it was that J.K. Rowling kept me engaged. Every single time I read it, I discover even new, you know, hints and secrets and foreshadowing in this book that just makes a lot of things so much better for the rest of the series. We're still definitely heavy into the whole, there's a lot of plot holes in this book, but I enjoyed it. Like I said, we met Dobby for the first time. Secondly, we still get the air of, oh, this is wonderful and magical, and Harry's still discovering new things about the wizarding world. But even with that, it's still, it has more meat on its bones than Philosopher's Stone does. whilst simultaneously still maintaining that spirit of wonder and magic that we get with Philosopher's Stone. And the reason why, you know, it's so high on my list, even though technically, would I really consider this high? It's like midway point. It's the midway point on my list, and I enjoyed it. I really did. A lot of people, some people don't like the mystery part of Chamber of Secrets, but I love it. I think that it's even because of the mystery, because I was actively, I'm a big fan of mystery in books, trying to solve and puzzle things out and trying to pick up all the clues and trying to, you know, you initially think that this person is the guilty person and then you cross the person's name out and then go look for yet another suspect. Like, it's, I always love it in books to combine that, to combine whodunit with magic and Harry Potter. Just like, definitely the reason why this is the middle of the pile for me. Like, love this. And I actually did enjoy the movie. I actually did enjoy the adaptation of the movie. I think this was the one that stayed most loyal to the book. I'm not sure, but I think so, and I did enjoy the movie. And now we're moving into my favorites, aka my top 3. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. What can I say? I really love the Wizarding Tournament. I am still heartbroken with how it ended, but I also love how it ended, because even though the ending of this book broke me, you know, seeing that death on page for the very first time, getting hit with it, like, this was definitely J.K. Rowling confirming, like, you know what, I'm not afraid to go that dark, I'm not afraid to go that bloody. And up until this point, it's been a case of, you know, Voldemort will try and attempt, he will not succeed, it will be foiled, Harry would survive, and we have been doing that all this while in all these books leading to this, but finally Voldemort gets it right, and shooketh, absolutely shooketh. But once again, like, definitely one of the reasons why this book is high on me, for me, is one, we get to experience the World Cup, the Quidditch World Cup, which, that scene is glorious. It's yet another reason why I'm so fucking offended about the movie. I don't mind if they had made this book into 2 movies, because I really wanted to experience the Quidditch World Cup and we didn't, and I'm just so pained. But like, we see the Quidditch World Cup, we see the Triwizard Tournament, every single, all the twists and all the turns, and oh my god, who is it, who has it in for Harry, would Harry succeed? And then you find yourself cheering, and then all the reviews at the end. I love the fact that this book started like it was going to be like every other Harry Potter book. Things were happy, things were going well, yada yada yada. Okay, it might be a simple mystery, Harry is going to survive, there will be no major loss of life. And then we go into the second part of the book, which is the Triwizard Tournament, and you know, we're caught all up on this tournament. We're seeing new schools, we're seeing new headmasters, we're seeing new students. I'm like, oh my god, interesting. The whole thing with Hermione and Ron is happening. I'm like, okay, I didn't see that coming, but I kind of did see that coming at the same time, you know. And it's just then we get to the later part, which is when things definitely start escalating, and then, you know, what happens with the Portkey happens, Voldemort returns, what happens afterwards, and then all the reviews that we get at the end. Sure, it was a bit exposition heavy at the end of the book, but I really did enjoy it. Like, see, I am beaming and so fucking happy, because I repeat, I love Goblet of Fire. Love it. Absolutely love this book. Definitely top 3 for me. And just I'm still pissed at all the bullshit they did in the movie with regards to how Harry got the egg for the Hungarian Horntail. I loved it better with how it happened in the book. The movie, the way they did it in the movie was just fucking annoying. But in this house, we ignore Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire as a movie, because we just ignore it. We just absolutely ignore it. Oh my god, Madame Maxine, and meeting Hagrid, like, oh my god, like loved it. Absolutely loved it. And then there's my second favorite, book number 2, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Anybody that thinks that this book will not be like top 3 for me is just delusional. Why? Because this book is the first time when we're finally introduced and we meet the love of my life, or rather the father of my dreams, Sirius Black. Which is funny, because like, younger me was thinking of Sirius, I'm like, oh my god, my father. Older me is like, oh my god, Sirius, my husband. Like, growth. This is growth, but growth is also acknowledging the fact that there's a lot of plot holes in this book, but I still loved it. I love the reference of I love Dementors. I love how they're connected with depression. I love the fact that we got even a further glimpse into Harry's parents and who they are. Like, it's so funny and so interesting, because leading up to this point, Harry's parents were just the specters that had always existed over his life. You know, we know they loved him, we know his mother sacrificed her life for him, we know his father died trying to keep Voldemort from getting to his wife and kid. We know exactly that they are beloved, you know, but we don't, it's up until this point, his parents have just been that, you know, these people that we barely get a glimpse of. And then in this book, we are giving more of an hidden depth into who they are. We also meet people that they know. We see exactly how it is that they are betrayed. The mystery with Peter Pettigrew, oh my god, that was so fucking good. That was so fucking good. The mystery with it, the first time we've, oh god, definition, my dear, you've got the grin. And like, what can I say? I loved it. I love the fact that I was able to laugh. I love the fact that this book had me swooning on all sides. I love the fact that this book had me thinking of family. And this was the last point. This was the last point in Harry Potter before death and destruction and everything just followed. Like, this was the last moment of happiness and joy and hope and contentment and love. Parental figure love before things went to shit in the book after this. So it would always be so close and so special to my heart. But also because we meet Lupin, we meet Sirius, we get to see the Dementors. The first time the Expecto Patronum makes its way onto page. Like, there's so many things I love about this book. Absolutely love it. Like, oh god. And of course the Thunderbolt. Like, so many things I love about it. I did like the fact that Hermione was all being like a snitch throughout this entire book, but she eventually outgrew it. You know, the Hermione that was in Prisoner of Azkaban is definitely not the same Hermione that's in, you know, the next book. You know what I call that? Growth. Speaking of the next book, finally the #1 book on that list, Harry Potter and the Order of Phoenix. It's funny because it wasn't until I reread this entire series again this year that this finally moved on to first place for me. Initially, first place was Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. But what can I say? Harry Potter and the Order of Phoenix had it all. It had magic, but it also had rebellion. It also had comedy. It had humor. It had teenagers deciding to resist against the system. It had Harry angry and furious and sassy and just so many levels of badass. The amount of badass Harry we got in this was just so fucking mind-blowing. We also got a little bit of stupid Harry, which we got at the later part of the book, but it was believable stupidity. There were like, there's a reason why it acted like that, and if you consider all the every single thing that came into play, all the factors, you could understand why, you know, it took the decision it did. And even though it broke my heart, and even though it did result in a tragedy, I understood. But what can I say? Like, this book had me crying so hard, but also had me clutching my chest so fucking tight. And I love it. I loved every page. I loved reading about this character, seeing how far they've come. Oh my god, the trio, my amazing trio that we meet in the first book is definitely not the trio we meet in this book. Harry's tired of being disbelieved. He's tired of being mocked. He's tired of being used. He's also tired of not getting the full damn picture, and for that I was just applauding. It's even the reason why Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince really pains me so much, because the Harry we get here is not the Harry we get in that book. And it's so sad, because I think that if it was Order of Phoenix Harry that we had gotten in Half-Blood Prince Harry, that book would have been just fucking fantastic. But like I said, I really love this book. I loved how much more real Harry Potter was. You could see him with his flaws. You could see all the cracks in the perfect veneer that he had maintained up to this point. And it was just such a beautiful, brilliant, amazing, fantastic thing to witness, to see. Harry Potter and the Order of Phoenix, definitely my favorite of the series. I know a lot of people do not agree with me, but that is your opinion. My opinion is that this is the superior of the books in the entire series. And yeah, that is definitely it. I'm not changing my mind. That is the hill I am fully prepared to die on. Bite me. But yeah, that is the order of my absolute favorite Harry Potter books, starting from my least favorite to my absolute favorite. Let me know if you agree with my order. Let me know if you disagree, and if you disagree, let me know what order you actually prefer the books. Who knows, maybe next year's reread I might end up changing my mind and actually, you know, going with your order, but I doubt it, because like my order is perfect. Just kidding. But yeah, that would be all. That is the end of this video. If you liked it, please do not forget to give it a big thumbs up. Check out my other videos, subscribe if you want to, and if you do, by the way, don't forget to click on the notification bell, because you know YouTube is being a bitch. But yeah, I make new videos every Sundays, Wednesdays and Fridays, and I'll see you soon. Until then, stay passionate, love books, love yourself. Bye.